If you've got a cat, let's be real, you know they're little adventurers. And sometimes that means they come home with a little scrape or a small cut. But do you know what to do in those first few moments? Well, today, we're going to dive into some super simple, at-home first aid for your favorite feline. So, picture this. Your cat comes strolling inside after a busy day of, cat stuff, and you spot a little scrape on their side. It's not a race to the emergency vet situation, but it definitely needs some attention. What's your move? Being ready for that exact moment can make a huge difference for your buddy's comfort and healing. Okay, let's start with the most common kind of boo-boo. Something on their main body, the tummy, their sides, or their back. Our goal here is pretty simple. We need to keep a clean dressing on it. And this is the big one. Protect that spot from your cat's own attempts to fix it by scratching or licking. And the perfect tool for this job is something called a many-tailed bandage. Don't let the name intimidate you. It's actually a brilliantly simple design. It's basically just a piece of cloth with strips cut into the sides that act like ties. It's perfect for wrapping around a cat's body without a lot of fuss. And putting it on is just as easy as it sounds. You put your clean dressing over the wound. Then you lay the solid middle part of the bandage right over that, with the tails sticking out to the sides. Then you just grab the matching tails from each side, bring them up, and tie them together over your cat's back. And boom, you've got a snug, secure cover. No crazy wrapping skills needed. So bandaging the body is one thing, but the head? Oh yeah, that's a whole different ballgame. The eyes and ears are so sensitive, and they need a much, much more delicate touch. And you really have to switch gears here, because the strategy is totally different for each. For most little ear scrapes, it's actually best to just let them get some air to heal. Your main job is just stopping the cat from scratching at it. But the eyes, that's another story completely. Any eye injury is probably going to need a very specific bandage, and that's something your vet absolutely needs to weigh in on. So if your vet does give you the green light to apply an eye bandage at home, here's how you do it. You start with a fresh, sterile gauze pad right over the eye. Then you take some tape and gently, and I mean gently, wrap it around their head to hold the pad in place. The key here is keeping that tape loose and making sure 100% that you're not pinning down their ears. Their ears have to be totally free. Okay, so we've covered, covering wounds. Now let's switch gears and talk about how to actually treat them, especially those small open wounds that aren't serious enough for stitches. This is where you can really be a hero at home. And you know what? The basic routine is pretty simple. For these little wounds, you just want to medicate the area twice a day. That's it. This keeps it clean, keeps infection away, and lets it heal up naturally. It's a really manageable way to stop a small problem from turning into a big one. So what should you actually be using? Well, here are some great options. You'll probably recognize a few of these, right? Like diluted Betadine, or even just a standard triple antibiotic ointment, the same kind you might have in your own first aid kit. These are all fantastic choices for keeping things clean. Now, what if a wound looks a little iffy, maybe a little infected and weepy? The game plan changes just a little bit. In this case, you'll want to use moist, sterile compresses. That moisture actually helps encourage the wound to drain, which is exactly what you want. Just change that dressing once or twice a day to keep it clean and help that healing process right along. We've talked about bandages and medicine, but honestly, none of that will matter. Not one bit if we don't tackle what is, without a doubt, the single biggest challenge in taking care of a cat's wound. What we're about to talk about is the key to making everything else work. So what do you think it is? What's the one thing that can derail all of your careful first aid? It's not a sloppy bandage. It's not the wrong cream. Nope. The biggest obstacle is the cat itself. And there it is, the golden rule, right here. You have to make sure your cat isn't licking or chewing at the wound. I know, their instinct is to clean it, but their mouths are full of bacteria, and their tongue is like sandpaper. It can actually damage the new skin that's trying to grow. So how on earth do you stop them? You've got options. There's the classic cone of shame, the Elizabethan collar. For some wounds, you can get creative and use a covering, like a baby sock with the toe cut off. And hey, never underestimate the power of a good distraction. A fun play session or a yummy treat can be just the thing to get their mind off it. And I really want to drive this point home. This isn't just one tip on a list. This rule applies to everything we've talked about. The body bandage, the eye bandage, that little open scrape. Stopping them from messing with it is the absolute foundation of all successful at-home care, period. Okay, we have covered a ton of practical skills today, and the whole point of this is to make you feel empowered as a cat owner. But being empowered also means being smart and knowing your limits. And you really are. You now have the tools and the knowledge to confidently take care of those everyday little scrapes. Knowing how to clean, medicate, and protect a minor wound is an amazing skill for any cat owner to have in their back pocket. But let's end on this final thought. It's awesome to be prepared for the small stuff, but the most critical part of being prepared is knowing when a situation is too big for you to handle. So the real question I want to leave you with is this: is your vet's emergency number saved in your phone right now? Is it on your fridge? Because knowing who to call when you need help, well, that's the most important first aid skill of all.